From being the second highest rated Group of 5 team, to extending head coach Jeff Traylor's contract for another 10 years, the UTSA Roadrunners have something special brewing down in San Antonio. Every college football fan has to be wondering two things: how and why. How did a team in only its 10th year of existence, not just in Division I, but in general, become one of only 6 teams that are still undefeated? And why this team, with these players, and this coaching staff at this time? I'm Kevin Redfield from TWSN and the Dropout Sports, and I want to explain those two things: the how and the why. Now, hold on. Before we get into the video, subscribe to the TWSN YouTube channel right there so that you don't miss out on quality videos and some incredible weekly shows. Alright, bring back the music and let's do this. There are some obvious reasons out there as to why the UTSA Roadrunners are successful as of late, but I think the most obvious reason anyone could point to is their consistency. Between the unusual hiring and tenure of Larry Coker to the failed Frank Wilson experiment, UTSA hasn't had the best 8-year run, but that all changed with the hiring of Jeff Traylor in 2020. UTSA tried 2 different hiring strategies the first 2 times around, with Coker being the legendary University of Miami man that hadn't coached in 6 years, and Wilson being the experienced assistant coach that had been all around the Southeast. But with Traylor, the philosophy behind his hiring was so simple and right under the program's nose. Traylor had been a high school football coach in Texas for 15 years, where he posted an 87% win percentage and had 12 district crowns and 3 state titles in 15 years. In 2015, Traylor went on to be an assistant coach at Texas University and later coached at SMU in Arkansas. Jeff Traylor knows high school football at both the high school and collegiate levels, which is something the Roadrunners of San Antonio were missing for the longest time. Also, when it comes to the team, 21 of their 22 starters this season are returning starters from last season, including all 11 defensive starters. Last year, between getting a new coach with a new system and a majority of the starters being juniors and sophomores, UTSA couldn't help but at least be a little off their game, although their improved 7-5 record would say otherwise. But now with a team filled with experienced seniors and juniors, along with a coaching staff that is now familiar with the college game and knows Texas football in and out, 8-0 doesn't seem that far off. Right now, everyone is talking about Jeff Traylor and that insane contract, and rightfully so. But I want to focus on the players and give them their due spotlight. The big name on the offensive side is Sincere McCormick, star third-year starting running back. Jeff Traylor's offensive system is very reliant on the power run game, and it shows in McCormick's workload. He's currently 11th in rushing yards and 3rd in carries in the entire nation. And he has a running style that's very tough and smart, with an emphasis on yards after contact and seeing the holes on the inside gaps. Passing-wise, the team is led by Frank Harris, the undersized 6-foot lefty that is playing incredibly right now. After transferring from Boston College and having some injuries, Harris found his footing last year with the Roadrunners and is continuing his momentum into this year. Coming into Week 10 with 16 touchdowns and just 3 INTs, Harris's passer rating is just below that of early round NFL prospect Carson Strong. Add on top of that a couple of rushing touchdowns and a receiving touchdown, and you can make the case for him being a worthy NFL roster spot. On top of Harris's talents, UTSA has a 3-headed receiving core of Zachary Franklin, Joshua Cephas, and DeCorian Clark. Add on top of that an experienced offensive line, and all the pieces fall into place. The Roadrunners are averaging nearly 40 points a game. They're top 15 in the nation. And on the other side of the ball with the defense, this team boasts a group of ball hawks and captains. Guys like Clarence Higgs, Corey Mayfield Jr., and Rashad Wisdom lead a team that has shut out 2 of their 8 opponents and is holding those opponents to less than 20 points per game. Remember in the first reason when I said that the Texas background of Jeff Traylor was the missing link to this UTSA puzzle? Well, that wasn't just a small little detail. Traylor, his staff, and his players embody Texas football like no other college football team. Before being paid $28 million to be the next UTSA head coach, or even before being a college assistant coach, Jeff Traylor was, and still is at heart, a high school football coach. And that's something he takes a ton of pride in. Look, He said after a program-defining win week 1 against Illinois, "I'm a Texas high school football coach with 7 Texas high school assistants and a bunch of Texas high school players." And it's all true. All of his staff have Texas high school football in their blood, and around 79% of UTSA's football players are from the state of Texas, including 15 of their 22 starters. The whole "everything is bigger and better in Texas" thing is a very common cliche non-Texans put on the state and its people. But for Traylor, McCormick, Harris, and this entire team, that statement seems just about right. To end this off, I want to emphasize the importance of Jeff Traylor's new contract, but not because of the money, but because of everything else. The fact that UTSA made this extension go until 2031 shows a belief in Traylor and the culture he's established. The 2-1-0 triangle of toughness that Jeff Traylor has installed in these players, this team, and this community, it's not going away anytime soon. The support and the buy-in that I've seen from his players, media members, and the UTSA staff is honestly something you don't see often, especially from a non-Power 5 school. And then the willingness to trust the future of this rising football program on one man for 10 years is something I'd like to see more of in college football. This year alone, we've seen guys like Gary Patterson and Matt Wells be let go mid-season by their own programs, and a lot of UTSA's success is on account that they don't worry about that. After the aforementioned Illinois win, Jeff Traylor said something that I loved and speaks volumes to what UTSA football is all about and why they're 8-0. Quote unquote, "These players, they believed in me from day one." Thank y'all for watching.